Dear friends, welcome to this screening of Don Palathara's film Omni. Actually, if you look at Don Palathara belongs to the post-liberalization generation of Indian cinema. And though he grew up in a world of digital imagery and digital technology, as a filmmaker, he seems to be obsessed with celluloid imagery and its aesthetics. He's also a filmmaker who, in a short span of time, who has evolved a signature visual style and narrative style of his own, producing some of the most poignant and evocative images in black and white in contemporary Indian cinema. Perhaps Palathara's choice of such archaic visual style draws from the narrative worlds he imagines and creates. It's most often the vast, verdant landscapes, the undulating terrains of hilly regions of Kerala, the flows of wind and water through them. And most often his milieu, if you look at his feature films, his milieu is the Christian families inhabiting these locations, hardworking, working with hand on the soil in plantations. And the whole physical and sensual and spiritual world that envelops them. There is a kind of thematic, the narrative atmosphere that Don creates in his films. Actually, nothing actually happens in Don's films. Like the primal landscapes and the open skies, the people inhabiting these narrative worlds too appear as mere parts of the larger scheme of things, beyond the anthropocentric reasoning and cycles and all that. In this film, Ammini, which is about the cow, he seems to invite the viewer to contemplate upon what could be called a very ordinary, mundane, everyday sight. The two of the cow, Ammini, for about 45 minutes. There is nothing dramatic or nothing happening. There is no beginning, middle, and narrative or any cause and effect. Nothing happens actually. So what is the film about? What is it trying to say? Is it a gift of love to his personal gift of love to his cow? And what about only thing that happens in the film in a way could be this kind of brief interlude of sound effects in the film. When everything goes still, the cow seems to be going through its daily routines right from the morning to evening. It is taken out of the shed, tied elsewhere. It stays there, eats, then brought back to the shed and all that. It is a kind of time span that the film works with. But there's a brief interlude of music effects. When we seem to, to relate our relationship with the cow, the very sight of that cow seems to change a bit. Is that a kind of an invitation to the viewer to look at the cow and feel for it as a fellow being, not just as something that could be utilized for milk or something that is outside of us, an object which we never actually look at? Or is actually Don trying to invite our gaze and attention to the animal, which we take for granted and never really look at closely? We never follow its minute movements and daily routines this very closely. Maybe this film is working against the kind of impatience that we have with the visual imagery now. That has become the kind of defining feature of our relationship with visual imageries. Taken in by the incessant pace and flow of the visual imageries around us, we have lost the quality of attention, or I would call it shraddha, both in terms of the care and attention that we give to the world and to images in general. Because we are caught in its flow, we just flow with it. We never actually contemplate upon any image. So this is a film. This kind of, impatience, this kind of indifference, this kind of fleetingness which we have with imagery is also actually, if you look at it closely, also, is related to our relationship with the world, others, nature, and also ourselves. So actually, Don's films are invitations for contemplations. For that we have to have, that's something we have to something we have to nurture in our relationship with the world through these visuals. Maybe that is what Dawn is trying to. There are no definite answers. It is actually an invitation to contemplation. Thank you and happy viewing.